So SIG changed the game with the high capacity 9mm micro 9s that we see today, and every other major company has followed suit with their own version of the P365, and now they've changed the game again. So along the way, we've seen the P365 XL, we've seen the P365 SAS, we've seen the Spectra Comp, the Spectra, and now today we're going to be looking at the Macro. So if this is your first time stopping by, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit your notifications so you never miss a video from me. And I have one of the best sponsored segments. You seriously don't want to miss this. It's from a company you all know and probably already love like I do. Check this out. One of the most respected names in knives is now a sponsor of the channel, and they are supporting y'all in a huge way. So I've been carrying the Launch 7 and the Launch 13 over the past couple weeks, and I could honestly do a dedicated video on each, but to give you the rundown, these are USA made knives. They use quality materials like 6061 T6 aluminum, CPM 154 steel blades, Cerakoted, all of that good stuff. Point is, these things are super high quality and very lightweight. So both of them have reversible clips, and what I really like is that these are automatic folders. So when it's actually folded up in your pocket, it's got a low profile button, so you don't inadvertently just open it up when you don't want. But as soon as you hit that button, these things swing open and lock solidly in place. It's really an incredible knife, man. And what they're doing for the community here is even better. They're offering everybody 20% off of any knife on their website when you use the code HEXSHOT87. And if you spend over $100, you actually get free shipping on top of that. This is a pretty sweet deal from an amazing company. Big thanks to those guys for the support that they're doing here on the channel. So the whole thing with Macro is more concealability, more rounds. They really could have given you more box because this thing is super tiny. Looks like it should fit like a LCP Max. I'm just saying, this thing is crammed. So of course, paperwork, all that good stuff. Seen it a million times. They do give you an assist loader. It's going to come with two 17-round mags, and it's also going to come with these back straps, but we'll talk about that here in a second. This one that SIG sent me, by the way, big thanks to those guys so I could show it to y'all, is set up just like this. So we're going to look at the features here, man. We're going to talk about it. Of course, I have not shot this yet. This is an unboxing and first look, but to add a little bit more spice and flavor to this video, I'm going to show you some comparison with some other popular carry guns. So this is kind of going to be a standalone video. Make sure you subscribe so you come back and see the actual review. Maybe a first shots. I don't know how I'm actually going to do this video, but I wanted to get this out there because what I'm really looking at is, and the question of the video, if you will, has SIG gone a little bit too far here with the size on the gun? So that's kind of what we're getting at here. But of course, I do want to take a look at some of these features. Let's go ahead and knock out the specs here really quick. You're at 6.6 inches in overall length, 1.1 inches wide. So you're at 5.2 inches in height, a 3.1 inch barrel, and 21.5 ounces, okay? So let's walk around the gun. You have front and rear slide serrations. They are set up more like the traditional P365 as opposed to the Spectra Comp. So SIG actually sent it with their Romeo Zero Elite. I'll go more into this after I've actually shot it and used it. There are some pretty cool features on this one, and I really hope it's better than the Romeo Zero that I have on the XL, but that's yet to be determined here. So what they did is they actually went with a brand new grip module here that actually has a standard Picatinny rail. By the way, they sent it with the Foxtrot 2 here, which is actually a nice little weapon light there, right? But taking that off, you can see you actually have a Picatinny rail up here, built-in comp. You still retain that 3.1 inch barrel with this comp. So it's actually, you know, the Spectra Comp itself is a flatter shooting gun. This is a really awesome design because there's nothing threaded on the end of the muzzle, right? It's all built in to the slide. The comp part of it, these are kind of angled a little bit forward. So when you look at it just straight on, it looks straight, but there's actually little cuts in here that make it look like the muzzle blast will actually kind of be diverted away from me. I never had any issue with this, but it's just something that I noticed between this and the Spectra Comp. It looks like it is angled just slightly forward a little bit, okay? Takedown lever here, slide stop here. You can see you have that flat trigger that the XL SpectraComp and this series now retain. If we close this, this is one thing too. If you have a magazine in the gun and it's obviously unloaded, trying to get this thing home is gonna be damn near impossible. Not that you're ever really gonna wanna do this, just know if you get one of these guns or you have one, once you put a round in here, that thing's gonna slide home super easy. But with an empty mag in there, it's like super hard to press that down. We take the mag out, boom, slides right home. You put a bullet in the mag, it again slides right home. So, high undercut under the trigger guard right there. You have your magazine release right here. It still retains that triangular serrated magazine release. Amazing grip texturing on these guns. I always am a fan of what SIG does as far as the texturing. The smaller the gun, the better the texturing, the more that gun's gonna be locked into your hand. X-ray style sights, and of course those are kind of null and void on this particular gun because I have the Romeo Zero Elite. But they do have somewhat of a built-in rear sight, so if that optic were to go down at all, they essentially have this like little luminescent line on the back of the sight and then a notch cut out there so you can just barely see that front sight. And this is kind of set up just like the XL, which I'm not a huge fan of. I would rather have my sights just co-witness and just be done with it, as opposed to having something built in here. Not really a fan, but at least you do have some kind of a backup option. They didn't leave you totally in the dark, if you will. So you actually have removable back straps on this gun, and I took those out so you could see what we have here. You basically have a small, medium, and large depending on your size of hand. So this is really cool, man, and this is something that not a lot of these companies are doing, if any, that I can really think of so far that we've reviewed, is actually have the ability to change that back strap. Normally, it's just kind of one and done. It is what it is. You got to live with it or you don't, right? So that's a very cool option that they integrated into the macro. So it actually also comes with this protector right here. So if you wanted to take this off, you could slide the optic on this, right? And then this would act as a little protector for the sight if you wanted to do that. So they included that as well. And then of course, I already mentioned the loader. The big thing with this gun is this grip module though, that now has a 17 round mag, which is insanity. This is insanity, dude. 17 rounds. We started, remember, with the P365 at 10 rounds. And this is kind of where we're going to be focused the rest of the video. You have your beaver tail, all that good stuff. Once we shoot this gun, I'll be able to tell you more about it in that regards. But I also want to tell you if I think this is kind of too much, and I'll be able to answer that at the end of the video as well. Once we get to the actual review part of this, where we're shooting the gun, we'll talk about the trigger. It feels a little bit different to me. I'll just go ahead and give you a little hint at that, but it feels a little different where you hit the wall here, and then it kind of pulls through, as opposed to the XL and the SpectraComp, which kind of hit that wall and then break. I don't know, maybe it's just because I haven't shot a round through it. Just feels a little bit different. They both kind of have that little bit of movement after the wall. See, that's like a second wall almost. It stacks up just a little bit. Doesn't get too heavy, but then it breaks. Okay, short travel, all that good stuff. We'll just have to wait and see. But let's look at the size comparison of this thing, because 17 rounds, man, that's getting up there. All right, if we're looking at the original P365, I'm just kind of going slide to slide. You can see that the macro is a little bit longer. They're the same barrel length, but of course that extra bit of slide there that has the built-in comp is going to give it a little bit of extra length. And then what I really want to see here, they're about the same width too. I mean, there's really not a lot is different there. Looks like the macro may be a little bit wide, right? It's a little bit more of everything, right? So it's a little bit wider, maybe 1/10 of an inch or something. But what I'm really interested in is that height, because remember, that's what we're trying to conceal. Now again, I don't have the standard base plate in the P365, so keep that in mind. It would end somewhere about right here without this little bit of finger extension, but you can see 10 rounds, 17 rounds. You're probably looking at an inch, I would say, maybe just a little bit more to get 7 additional rounds. So that actually doesn't seem too bad. Let me check out the trusted Shield Plus, right? So we can walk all the way around this if you want. Slide to slide, they're almost the same there. As you can see, the width is just about the same. We're not gonna look at that. Really concerned, or really wanna focus on this height, okay? So the Shield Plus on top here, 10 rounds, is 4.6 inches high, whereas the macro is 5.2. So you're at what, you know, about a half of an inch or something like that, maybe a little bit more. So not too bad. There's the actual difference, half of an inch. So we're talking about the P365. I said an inch. It wouldn't even be a full inch on the P365 either. Let's look at the Spectra Comp, right? Recently reviewed. Check out the video if you want to find out more about this gun. So 12 rounds in the P365 Spectra Comp on top here. Recently reviewed. If you want to check it out, look for that review as well. But you can see a little bit less than a half of an inch because it's a little bit taller than the Shield Plus. It's 12 rounds, 17 rounds. These guys at SIG know what the heck they're doing. They're not just going to throw a gun out there that is just considerably taller than everything. Now, I think the most direct competitor to this is the Hellcat Pro. Let me pull that out. So there's nothing really scientific about this, but we know that the Hellcat Pro is 4.8 inches high, whereas the macro is 5.2. And there's your difference. 15 rounds, 17 rounds. Boom, right there. Basically just the base plate of the magazine is the extra length there. Pretty damn impressive. Now let's look at the Glock 43X. This is a 10-round gun. Recently re-reviewed this gun, and as you can see, they are almost the same length. 10 rounds, 17 rounds. And one more, just for a little more flavor, the Glock 19. Considerably bigger, by the way. I want to show this. Considerably bigger, chunkier, longer, wider, all of that. But if we put them slide to slide, the best I can, the Glock might be a half of a tenth of an inch, if that's even a thing. I don't know, but I'm just saying they're basically the same length gun. 15 rounds, 17. SIG did this right. So here's the thing, man. Got to shoot it and still got to do some determination on whether this gun is truly worth it. Now here's going to be the sign to tell me if this extra length is worth it. Because remember, this is what you're trying to conceal. So they're basically taking guns like the P365, which is a true micro 9, and I think they actually call this a compact. It's not really a micro 9 anymore. The Hellcat is on the bigger end of things. So if this gets too much bigger, you might as well just call it a small full-size gun. You know, we're getting out of micro 9 territory here. Impressive as it may be that they got 17 rounds in a gun that's basically the length of a Glock 19, with the thinness of a Shield Plus or the thinness of a Spectra Comp or even the P365, essentially, with the built-in comp, making it a flatter shooting gun, which I've already witnessed with the Spectra Comp itself. Optic cut, awesome trigger. It has a lot of great features, but this has to be a really good shooting gun for me to justify the extra length. I am really comfortable carrying everything up to the Spectra Comp, and then once I get to about the Hellcat Pro inside the waistband, I don't really have to change anything except I need to wear one extra shirt or a little bit bigger shirt to be able to conceal it. That's just my body type. That it is what it is. And to make it worth it, you know, at the end of the day, it has to be worth it for you to carry. I enjoy the Hellcat Pro. I don't like the sights on it. I'm not the best shot with it, but I enjoy it for what it is. So if it's a way better shooter than the Hellcat Pro, I'm all in. Really got to be a damn good shot for me to justify it. So that is yet to be determined, but I have to say, first impressions here is that it's pretty incredible. They got 17 rounds in this thing. And dude, listen, you may not like this, but all of these companies that continue to innovate, unlike some, are doing us all a favor. They're giving us more options. That's never a bad thing. So if you bought a P365 or a Shield Plus, or you're still carrying the original Shield and you love it, that's awesome, man. But I love to see the innovation, and I love to see them trying new things and actually expanding the carry market to include more people. There may be somebody out there that's like, dude, I like the Hellcat Pro, I like the size of it, but I'm just not a good shot with it. So they may look at this and they're like, wow, man, that grip feels really good. You get basically a full-size grip with the thinness of a Micro 9 built-in comp. This is perfect for me. So it's not just, sometimes you have to think, or at least I do, I have to think as a reviewer outside of what I see and maybe consider how other people see this. So I'm really excited to get this thing to the range, man, and I hope it is a frickin' tack driver. We will find that out. Make sure you're subscribed to see more on the P365 Macro. I want to see what your opinion is down in the comments below. Did SIG take it a little bit too far? Do you think this is kind of a breakthrough pistol, another breakout pistol for them? Let me know down in the comments section. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.